Grace and peace, Black family. This is Vicky Dillard, your sister with the curly braids. And I want you to get ready for the new Master Elements project, The Spear and the Shield.
This vaccine isn't experimental. It's like a dandelion. You overlook it for their weird science.
DJ RP Beats and Sincere Love the God have taken this time during the pandemic to carefully craft the soundtrack to Black empowerment with hot tracks like God Mine, featuring Sadat X of the legendary group Brand Nubians.
We never die. I made an ancestral shrine. Let's see what's in the God's mind. Listen, I'm a law in a person, a sincere of the God. That mean your arms too short like Carl Anthony Shaw.
God painted me black.
God painted me black. Thanks for that. I'm a original man.
A letter to Dr. Francis Cress Welsing.
I say to the ancestors. Dear Dr. Francis Cress Wilson, I just wanted to thank you for all the lessons you left us. So yes, I'm more than grateful.
And the controversial song, Buck Breaking God today.
Why every black show they gotta have a transgender? Either I'm crazy or this gotta be a planned agenda.
Get ready, Black family. This is a much needed project. This is The Spear and the Shield.
A double dose, quadruple dose of what racial shadowboxing does to black people's minds.
Well, black people being prisoners of war do what? Prisoners of any kind do what? Mostly fight each other when they get mad about something. That's what they do. That's why you have prison riots. And they throw mattresses around and start fires and run up and down the cell block. I mean, and those who have made homemade knives, they kill each other. And so the guards just stand around and you might say just kind of ho-hum, yawn and look at the show until they finally settle down, because they ain't going nowhere. And black people are the same way. Black people get angry about this. Black people are always angry, particularly the younger they are. The black males in the Northwestern Hemisphere, there's so many frustrations coming at them at once that they get angry about everything and everybody. So when they lash out, they know how dangerous it is if they do anything to make white people mad. Now, they learn that real early because they look at their elders and see that. They see the fear that is in people like Neely Fuller. They can, they're not dumb. Young black people are not dumb when it comes to basics, and that's a basic. Elder black people are stone fearful of white people who get serious about hurting black people. And that fear is real, and that fear is warranted. So young black people coming up, looking at their uncles and elders, we always like to talk about elders, but when it comes to white supremacy, the elders melt. All of us, I'm an elder, I know. We try to fake that bravery. We're not brave. We're scared to death. All of us. We're fearful. And the young black people pick up that fear. And it makes them angry. But then they acquire the fear too. Because they say, that fear is real. And it's sensible for the elders to be fearful, because anything that's more powerful, like the system of white supremacy, than you ever thought about being, and you're born in it, in that system, and subject to it, and you're in that prison system, you're fearful, whether you admit it or not. You say, well, I'm one brave black person, whatnot. Well, that's a word, brave. But there's a lot of brave people who are dead, okay? And you can be killed instantly by the white supremacists when they really mean business. Why? Because they have all the power. That's why. Black people don't have any at all. We're born in a prison camp called the system of white supremacy, and that's the most powerful, most awesome prison system ever conceived in the minds of people in the history of the world. And that's a fact. So young black people who lash out at each other because they're fearful of who else they gonna lash out at? They're gonna run around, telling white people, that you can't tell me what to do. They don't see none of the elders doing that, those that survive. So they ain't doing it. But they find that they can kill each other and don't nobody care. So that's what they do. Young black males, that's their biggest sport, killing each other. They kind of settle down as they get older, if they get older. But the older black males, many of them were doing that killing and gotten away with it. Why? Because the white supremacists said, we don't care about you black people killing each other.
Do for self or suffer the consequences. The wisdom of Elijah's inside of the conscientious. So I move with it.
Peace, peace, peace. What's going on? Welcome, family. Welcome to another episode of Sincere Love the Godcast. I am the God, Sincere Love, here with my lovely co-host once again, Miss nyctegur. Your mic is on mute, beloved. Miss nyctegur in the digital building, so she get that microphone together.
I'm here.
What's up? You ready to rock and roll?
I'm ready to rock and roll. It's on and popping. Like I told you guys, Sunday, the timing of this brother is just perfect. The stars have aligned. The cards, I should say, have aligned since he does the cards. So I'm excited.
Right. Yeah, so we definitely got an exciting show coming up just ahead for y'all.
Yep.
But before we get started with that, I'm gonna need everybody to hit that like button. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Make sure that y'all share this out on your social media platforms and let everybody know that we are live on Sincere Love the Godcast with another episode of the Black Business Showcase. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you're watching us on Facebook or if you're watching us on Twitter, head on over to the YouTube channel, click that subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you can be reminded whenever we go live with new content. And I'm over here, I'm multitasking right now.
Well, while you multitasking, let me just say what's up to the chat. Hey, Mama Love. What's up, Nikki the God, AK Sour God. Welcome to Sincere Love the Godcast. Thank you guys for joining us.
Yes, indeed. And so, I had to open it up with the clip from Neely Fuller today with the OG Neely Fuller. And he's talking about the concept of shadow boxing. And make sure you guys subscribe to that channel as well. That channel is called Produce Justice on YouTube. They post a lot of they basically focus on posting Neely Fuller content over there on Produce Justice on YouTube. So make sure you guys are subscribed to that channel as well. I always like to give a shout out to the channels when I use their content to open up the show. So
also, I believe that Mr. Neely Fuller goes on live on their radio show as well on every Tuesday, and you're actually able to call in, ask him questions, comments, etc. live every Tuesday. So I would definitely look into that as well.
Yep, that's a fact. All right, so we about to get started with this thing. We got a good brother on here, man. I don't have a bio in front of me, but we're going to get into some good conversation, and he could tell you all about himself much better than I can. So without further ado, I would like to present to you our guest for this evening, our big brother, Mr. Dwann B. Welcome to the Godcast, family.
What up, y'all? How y'all doing today?
What's going on, man?
I'm good.
I'm chilling, man. Thank y'all for inviting me on.
Yes, indeed. Dwann B done pulled up to the Godcast. It's lit.
Yes, sir.
We both in California. We both in LA. So how you in the dark?
Man, I like keeping it, man. The only light I like is God's light, man. I hate turning the lights on, man. I that's why I used to do my shows in it. Like I be out in front of the house when the sun is out, so I can be high and I had this light in my face.
Yes, indeed. You got the essence ambiance going on.
I'm looking like I got my death row on right now.
No.
Man, so tell everybody about yourself. Let everybody know who you are, man. Give you your credentials, and then we'll get a little bit into your history and everything like that.
For sure. I do a whole lot. You know what I mean? Oftentimes I forget something when I talk about what I do because I'm not really good at talking about myself. That's always been my big issue. But yeah, I call myself a jack of a lot of trades, master at most.
Okay.
I got my company Breakthrough Advocacy Services. That stems out of 5 when I was 14, working with children as a student tutor, and I never stopped working with kids after that and working with families. I got my start in 1995, Watts, California, LA. Worked all over South Central LA, working with children and families. That morphed into Breakthrough Advocacy Services, to help families communicate better. You know what I mean? Because I found all them years, the biggest issues in families oftentimes was lack of communication, not lack of love. It's just people didn't know how to communicate it or receive the communication. So I started specializing in that. I got a book dropping any day now. I just keep editing it every time I look at it. But it's called Tell It Like It Is, The Art of Loving Communication. We always talk about keeping the Black family together, but we ain't gonna stay together if we don't know how to talk to each other. So the book is teaching people how to talk to each other. And yes, I do read cards. I'm a card reader, playing cards. Because I learned this because after all those years working with families, I got tired of it taking 2 or 3 months to sift through people's lies and forgetfulness to find out what was going on. So I said, you know what? I can get these cards right here. The same deck of playing cards you play poker with. I get these cards right here and see everything going on in your family. That way I can get to your issues in 1 or 2 sessions versus 10 or 15.
So
that's my professional life. I'm also a musician, drummer. I got my drum sound sample packs out right now on swagsample.com. They will be coming pretty soon to incenseandashtrays.com.
Yes, indeed.
Music historian, I guess by default, because as long as I've been teaching myself how to play the drums, I've been learning the history of music. So I got a good 30 years of knowledge in his brain of just always studying music history. Hotepish.com, that's my podcast. One of them. Incense and Ashtrays is the other where I got this Black family music tree. 400 years of Black music on one tree, you dig?
Yes, indeed.
I did the tree before I did the book because truth is, even when people buy the book, they rarely get past the first chapter. So I figured, let me just put it on a tree first so people can just get right to it, without having to flip through all kind of pages. Then the book will come second.
So what's the name of the book?
I don't know yet.
Oh, okay.
It's coming. It's coming.
You waiting for the download?
Yeah, I have all kind of notes written around, but it just gotta synthesize. It gotta come.
Yes,
You wait for it to come to you. It's like music, it's the feeling. It's that pocket. It's the one. I haven't gotten in that pocket yet. But yeah, so that's a few of the things that I do. I have other shit that I do, but I can't think of it right now.
Comedian.
Oh, yeah, I'm stand-up comedian. I forgot. Oh, I got a damn. Thanks for reminding me because I have to do a class reunion this weekend. So I'm stand-up comedian. I have another show I do, Craig Facts, where we be dropping facts and cracking jokes. Rest in peace, Teddy Ray, my guy. So a lot. But
a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. And I already knew too. I'm like, man, it's so much that it's so many directions we could go with Dwann B. It's so much that we can get into. I know we're not gonna be able to cover it all. So I'm just gonna go, we're gonna go with some of the things that interest us the most about you. You know what I'm saying?
That works.
So the comedy. Let me get the origin story of you and stand-up comedy.
I was always natural. I had a thing, and this comes from my first book that I wrote, No Time to Waste. It's still on my website. This is a formula that I have when it comes to finding your purpose. I was in a rut in 2008, 2009. I was working. My previous profession was I was a mortgage banker, hard money lending, what they call long sharks. Loans is how I paid my way through college. And that market crashed in 2008. I went like a year without getting one commission check because shit was messed up. And then I'm trying to figure out what direction to go to. I can't get no jobs doing banking, none of that. And so I did a technique that's in my book. And I drew 2 circles. On one circle, I wrote everything that I love to do, that's fun, that I just love to do. In the other circle, I wrote everything that's just easy to do. And themes that kept coming up are themes that I'm in right now. Like I love talking to people. I love comedy. Okay, and it's easy to make people laugh. And so I kept seeing making people laugh and comedy come up. So one day I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it. So I'm out with this chick, right? And we ain't dating. We just real cool, you know? And I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do stand-up comedy one day. I'm making her laugh and everything. She's like, you should be a comedian. I'm like, I'm gonna do it one day, yeah. I wasn't planning on doing no comedy yet. She was like, you are? All right, cool. Boop, 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 boop. She calls up her homeboy. Her homeboy is Barry Brewer. He's a guy that does, a lot of y'all might be familiar with him. He does some shows on BET and on the internet. And he's like, yeah, I know about a comedy show down at the Comedy Union on Pico. And so it put me on the spot. He was like, come down next Monday. I was like,
that's a hard job, man.
Yeah, I was like, all right. I didn't want to let him know punk. So I went. And when I went, I made him laugh. And it was like, oh, that felt fun. And I kept making him laugh. And then I just never stopped. And then on top of that, I needed that balance. I was working in South Central LA at that time, working with those kids, working in abject poverty. And that's depressing.
No doubt.
Very depressing to be on the way home and the kid call you and say, I haven't eaten in 3 days. And you got to stop and pick up a pizza when you only getting paid $16 an hour at that, at some broke ass job. But I did it. And the comedy gave me a balance from having to deal with the other stuff I was going on. I was driving myself into depression doing that. So comedy gave me a way to laugh through it. And it gave me a way to balance the scales.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. That's dope, man. That's dope. Hey, family, just so y'all know, those of y'all that just tuned in, we are chopping it up with our brother Dwann B. So make sure that y'all hit that like button. Make sure that y'all share this out. Let everybody know that we are live. Oh, man. So you did mention paying your way through college. So what were you studying in college? Do you have a degree that's dealing with children and family and stuff like that? Or is that just based on experience?
I went around the corner with that. My degree is in communication studies, learning how to study. So in college, I learned how to study. So none of my degrees led to a job, but I apply them all in every business that I run. So the reason why I'm able to break down information so easily, one, I'm a king of clubs. I'm a natural speaker. I was born to speak. Two, having my background in cultural anthropology, it teaches you how to source culture, how to read culture, how to read society. It teaches you what questions to ask when it comes to formulating your viewpoint on a certain subject. That's what cultural anthropology teaches you. It teaches you how to study the world you're in. And being a comm studies major, I started because I was on the debate team. Like I took a debate class and ended up getting on the debate team. My professor told me I should be a lawyer. And I was like, I ain't going to school that long, but what can I do short of that? And then that's what got me into this major. And that teaches you how to disseminate information, how to break it down, how to really explain to people in fine detail the thing that you're talking about. So when it comes to when I talk about music, people always ask me, well, what book did you read that came from that from? It's like, no, I read the book on what happened, but the reason I'm able to box it into a culture and round it off into a culture is because I know how to study culture and how culture migrates and how culture expresses itself. And I know that scientifically it takes 2 to 3 generations for a subculture to affect the dominant culture. So when people say Jamaicans came to the United States in 1961 and influenced hip hop in 1974, I'm like, scientifically that can't happen for at least 3 generations for you to affect the current society. But when you come into a new society, generally the first people do when they immigrate to a new society is they amalgamate themselves within the society in order for them to fit in. Because Jamaicans knew if they wore these white jeans and these penny loafers and these fake Versace shirts, they're gonna get clowned. You gonna get you know how we are, black people. We gonna clown.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
So they had to walk like us, talk like us, and because they do share a lot of genetics, and because well over 50,000 black people were exported to Jamaica from the United States in the 1800s, a lot of us do share blood. It's easy for them to pick up on what we already going on, because it could be a good chance that their ancestors come from America.
Right. That's
So,
a good
it's
point.
those things, it's those sciences I apply when I'm talking this. That's why I'll be like, okay, you can go ahead and debate me if you're a PhD, because you're gonna be reading the same science book I read. So let's go.
Right.
Yes, indeed. So let's go there. Let's go there next. Let's go to the music next. Give us your background in music and what qualifies you to speak in the way that you do.
I played the drums in church for 20 years. That right there alone gives me the music.
The black church, the foundation of the Black American church.
And I still play in the black church when the money's right. I'm sorry to you Christians out there, no disrespect, but y'all churches be paying. This the whole thing behind the scenes that y'all don't know what happened. But anyway, I started playing the drums in church when I was 14. And my dad I'm just like my dad. We just alike. My dad, we bonded through childhood over Laker games and documentaries. Those would be the two things that me and my dad would do together. Watch Laker games, watch documentaries. Other than that, my pops was on the side of the house smoking weed, minding his own business, and we was playing video games. But I've always watched music documentaries, and I have a really good memory. So I can hear something and never forget it. And so I've been watching documentaries and interviews from day one. But when I started teaching myself how to play the drums, it took on another level, because like now I'm in church playing, and my music director was Mr. Mark Scarborough. His dad was Skip Scarborough. Skip Scarborough wrote "Give You the Best That I Got" by Anita Baker, "Love's Holiday" by Earth, Wind and Fire.
Woo!
He wrote "Don't Ask My Neighbor" by The Emotions. He's one of the greatest, most prolific songwriters ever. So I got that game all the time, and I was a curious youngster. I'm always asking questions. What do I need to do to get better? How do I need to get better? And they'd be like, listen to this, listen to that. And then I had other musicians in my church band, like the congo player played for Rolls Royce. The bass player used to play behind Stevie Wonder. Because the black church, you could be walking down the street, you dealing with you might be walking across somebody that got 10 Grammys, you will never know it,
Wow. Mm-hmm.
And so, or played on the album that won Grammys. So being in that incubator in the black church, and then being very curious to music, I watch any documentary I can watch on any genre. I watch any book I can find. Look right here, like I got books just books all over the place. I'm reading this one right now, Segregated Sounds, talking about how black music was created in segregation.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always buying books and watching documentaries. If I see a book and it's $500 and it's gonna teach me something, here go that $500. Let's go. That's just who I am, because I'm curious as shit.
Okay.
And so that is the reason why I got into the music. And like even now, like music took a backseat to stand-up comedy for a long time. For about 10 years. I would play every now and again, but now I'm up to doing both. That's why I got my drum sample packs coming out. I know a lot of musicians. My family, my wife's dad's a multi-Grammy winning artist, so I can talk to him anytime I want about anything music history. And so yeah, that's where it comes from.
And so did branding yourself and building your platforms on social media, YouTube and stuff help bring the drums back into the forefront? You know what I'm saying? Did it give you an audience to service, so to speak?
Yes. I haven't really flushed it out yet with my audience on music. That kind of just got put in my lap. You know what I mean? Like I never got on this with the intention on talking so much music history. All right. I just want to talk more current events and crack jokes and then like break things down from my weird point of views or whatever, and talk some music, but it was when that Pete Rock dude last summer, he put that tweet out talking about you help but say hip hop is Jamaican. And then me and him had like a 3-week long Twitter exchange.
And that's when I found you. That's when I started rocking with you when you did the what was it called?
The R&B roots of reggae.
The R&B roots of reggae.
Yeah. Because I saw Pete Rock doing that. I heard Busta Rhymes was on that show, was on 80 and 5 South show, or whatever, saying that hip hop is Jamaican, and Fat Joe. And I'm like, what in the hell is going on here? Hold on, let me. So that was me just. Yeah, I just turned the street, like I just made a left turn, like hold on, because I know rhetorically, if I'm in a debate and I'm going to refute your point, and we're going to have a debate back and forth. I'm not going to debate you on your terms. I'm going to switch it to my terms, and especially if I have the higher ground or the low ground if I need to. And we can torpedo all this because before you say anything about your influence on us, let me show you how we taught you the game. So now by default, anything that you say you affected us,
you're on defense.
It comes from what we taught you, fool. That's why I did it that way. Because it's like, okay, let's say, okay, we got that from Jamaica. Well, y'all got it from us. So yeah, thank you, cousin. But granddaddy already taught me. We got the same granddaddy. But I talk directly to granddaddy. You the cousin. I mean, you granddaddy's brother's kid. That's who you are. But my granddaddy taught your granddaddy and your dad. And so that's my family. We cousins, cool.
Yes, sir.
But no matter what happens, remember my granddaddy taught you that and me that. So that's why I did it that way.
Where is this coming from, though, with these, artists? Like, why is this such a thing now? I haven't been hearing any of this stuff till recently. Like, why do you think this is happening now? Why do you feel that they feel the need to colonize hip hop or any other genre from foundational Black Americans?
I think white folks realize that, Eminem was a one-time thing. It ain't gonna be many Eminems, and even Eminem, when you put him next to Black artists, he's a C, if you ask me. He said some cool things. You know what I mean? He got a few good songs, but most of that credit goes to Dre's production, because how many Eminem songs have you sang or thought about without Dre's production? So, and so they realize that, you know what? We can't make this white while these niggas are still alive. You know what I mean? Like we may be able to make it white in 100 years. But we can't make it white now. But we gotta stop. We can't let these Black Americans have credit for anything. So I think from the top, Busta, Fat Joe, they got a battery in their back. Why would anybody on the earth care about what Fat Joe has to say about anything? Like, you don't like for real. Like, other than your thoughts on Big Pun, what do we care about what you have to say? What was this song? I don't want to be a player no more. Wasn't that Fat Joe song?
That's Pun.
That was Pun. Yeah. See, yeah, exactly.
See,
exactly. We don't. Who is he? Busta Rhymes. Whoever in a million years said, I want to know what Busta Rhymes thinks about a particular subject. He's never written any thought-provoking music. He's never played any thought-provoking roles as an actor. So why is he getting a microphone to speak on anything? That's not what he's known for. He's known for twisting lyrics. What do you like? Your lyrics don't ever say that. They sound cool, good beats, especially when you would try. But even your beats, everything you talking about, all this stuff is Jamaican, and everything you beat is all your music is a sample from Black American music. You ain't sampled not one. You ain't sampled not one rock steady beat ever.
Good point.
You know what I mean? So I think they were sent. And so since they were sent, you know what I mean? That's why they're so bold. You know what I mean? These Fat Joe, what?
Right.
So yeah, they got a battery behind their back, because they got to put a different face on our music. They can't give us credit. They got all these millions of immigrants coming. Her brother Jason Black's broadcast the other Sunday talking about millions coming just in the last over just this year. We got to give these immigrants something to have some kind of pride in to connect them to this land.
Right. And it's part of the watering down foundational, just watering us down and mixing us in with making us tantamount to immigrants in the first place.
Right.
There's nothing special about you niggas. You just like everybody else. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Y'all didn't do nothing. Y'all didn't do nothing significant on your own. Everybody contributed. Y'all didn't build America. Immigrants built America. You know what I'm saying? So it's just a continuation of that.
Yep.
You know what I mean? The Chinamen built the railroads. Exactly. Like all of that nonsense where what is it about foundational Black Americans in particular, though? Because Black people all over the globe get it, right? But foundational Black Americans are the targets of all of these groups, not just the white supremacists, but all of these groups have within their culture anti-foundational Black American sentiments.
Yes.
I tell you what it is. We got the juice.
We got the juice.
We got that.
We got the juice. Because think about it. We on the look. I look at my drum packs. I have an Afro beats pack, and I have a Latin beats pack. Let me tell you something. They the same damn beats. It's just that the Afro beats got more. I have them layered with more percussively, with shakers, and on the Latin beats I have it layered with cowbells and certain things. But it's the same rhythm. I mean, everybody there's a certain rhythm that they all got. Our rhythm is all the way different. All right, like totally different. We don't even understand how different our rhythm is, but you can hear it in the music.
Explain that if you could a little bit, like some of the differences.
Like you listen to their music, they walk to the beat of do 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 do, and they be over there swinging their hips to it, do 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 do, and we be like, for one song, we be like, oh, that's some dope shit. Oh yeah, but after that second song, we be like, dude,
didn't I just hear that?
Am I lying?
You're not lying.
Whether you live in LA, New York, Miami, or Utah, that's how we feel. But our beat is and you hold that 2 and a 4 to create a deeper crater in the pocket. And that makes you bob your head. It makes you feel good. And our beat is so magnetic. It's so smooth. It's so on the one. The whole world said, man, fuck these steel drums. Sit these congos down. Let me get that drum set them niggas are playing in America. We literally changed the way the world's rhythm. Black people don't understand. I don't have to go to the rest of the instruments. Just the drum set. That's why I did that show breaking down only the drum set. Because all music is built around the drums. The drums, like when we talk about music, our music represents the 4 elements of life: earth, air, water, fire. The drums and the bass are the earth. The earth is the canvas in which everything else pops off. That's the canvas everything else gets painted against, is the earth. And what soil your earth is in determines what you can do on that in that piece of land. Are you on sand? Are you on clay, rock, bedrock? What are you on? I can't build high rises on sand. I can't even build them on regular dirt. But if I have bedrock under there, I can. So the earth dictates the how everything else is orchestrated around it. So we were stripped from our drums from Africa for the ones who came from Africa. For the ones who were native, you were stripped from those drums too.
Right.
So after slavery, we had to piece it all back together. And you had your frontline drums out of New Orleans. You had your snare, your bass drum. You had your hi-hat, your cymbal on top. And you had 2 people play, at least 2, usually more, playing the drums. What we said was, let me get that bass drum, put it on the floor, and invent a kick pedal so I can hit it with my foot. And let me get that snare, put it on the stand right here. Let me get those 2 cymbals, sandwich them together, create a hi-hat. Let me get the other cymbal so I can hit it as a crash. And those Indian drums that we used to go do, let's put those and mount those on the top for toms to bring melody. And of course, it wasn't like that right away. Diddy Chandler's drum set only had a hi-hat, kick drum, and snare, and a wood block. But the wood block was used in early recording because in early recording, the microphones couldn't handle everything else, so they used the wood block instead. But when we did that, it changed the glue of the music. If you listen to a Latin song without a drum set, and or you listen to a Caribbean song from Trinidad or Jamaica with the steel drums. You know, the music sort of floats. That's why you see people when they dance to that Caribbean island music, they sort of sway their hips side to side.
They whine.
Yeah, they whine. It floats. There's no drum. Their drums is centered around, but their drums color the music. You know, their drums sort of play, and they bring color, they bring depth, they bring texture to the music. They're not the foundation of the music. With us, the drum set is the foundation, and you got one person playing, so that's one pocket for the rest of the band to gather around. And so when we did that, it changed the whole pace of music worldwide. And everywhere in the world that touches our music, they say, get rid of our native instruments and bring in that drum set. That's our effect. That's our effect on the world. They say the same thing happened when the bass came. When the bass came, it was like, all right, cool. Drums and the bass. And then same thing with the trumpet. The trumpet wasn't, the cornet was the popular instrument in the 1800s. Louis Armstrong made the trumpet pop off. Lester Young and Coleman Hawkins made the saxophone pop off. Saxophone was a complementary instrument. They didn't even really play the saxophone till Coleman Hawkins came around, till Lester Young came around, and we changed all of that. Then we came in with the keys. Who was the first person to play that electronic Rhodes key? When Rhodes came out with that synthesizer, who was the first person they gave it to? Herbie Hancock on Miles Davis's Bitches Brew. So every instrument, either we invented it or we're the ones who told the world how to play it. Either we invented it or they invented it and gave it to us, and we're the ones that everyone else copies when it comes to how to play it. White people, Asians, no matter where you are on the planet, when y'all hear our music, y'all say, damn our native instruments, let's get what them black people are playing. That shows our effect on the world.
Right. Funny you brought up Trinidad, because I went to Trinidad. I have a friend that's from there, so we went there for 12 days, stayed with her family. We went clubbing. I didn't hear one like Caribbean song. Every club that we went to when I was out there, which was only 2 to be honest, but the clubs that we went to, they played our music here. I didn't hear anything different than what was playing in the clubs at home, y'all.
We got the juice. We just got to accept it. We don't know it though.
So what are they talking about with this Cuban influence on jazz?
Right. Oh Lord.
You know, now jazz influence.
This is what they're saying.
That's them saying. That's them saying up is down and down is up. Because the Cubans who were here, like what's his name? I forgot his name, but he was the band director for the drummer who died young, Chick Webb. Chick Webb's band director was of Latin descent. And so they're trying to use that to say that he was an influence, when at the end of the day, he came to America and he came into what we were doing. There is no influence from theirs to us, because if there was, we would adopt their instrumentation. There are no Cuban instruments in the jazz setup. The American jazz setup is completely 100% Black American instruments. You know what I mean? And so yes, they're of course there are horns that the horns are shared, but the way the horns are played are different. It was Dizzy Gillespie, it was bebop that changed Cuban music. Before bebop, Cuban music, when they played their horns, they played those longer sustaining notes. Dun, 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 dun. It wasn't until Dizzy Gillespie interacted with Cuba and brought them. It was when they heard that bebop, is when them Cuban horn licks went from doom 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 to don 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 don. That was bebop's effect on their music. They didn't play it like that before bebop. What we do is we go around the world and say, look, here, do this. You're gonna have some dope shit. Then we leave. Sure. That's what we do. We go around the world and say, if you do it, all bossa nova is, and that's out of Brazil, but comes from the same person, Dizzy Gillespie. It is Brazilian rhythms with jazz melodies and harmonies. You know, y'all have a certain rhythm. Now, it's their rhythm done on a drum set. Like, It's still their rhythm, but they said we're gonna play our rhythm on your black drum set. So that shows you again how to trace culture, who's influencing who's adopting whose instruments, who's adopting whose style of play, who's adopting whose style of speech and swag and stage performance. It always goes in one direction, from us to them.
Right. And they have you mentioned Afrobeat a little while ago. They have a documentary on Netflix about Afrobeat. And I don't even know who none of these people are. I just said, let me check this out. Let me see what this is about. And they were all paying homage to Black American music in the documentary. They were saying they got it from us. They was trying to be like the rappers and so on and so forth. But then when the Grammys came out and they tweeted something about the Black American influence on Afrobeat or the hip hop influence on Afrobeat, Tether Twitter was in a rage about that. You know what I'm saying? Tether Twitter said that was blasphemous.
See, it's a thing. The musicians aren't insecure. The musicians just want to sound good and sell records. So the musicians can pick up something you playing that's gonna help them sell records. They humble about it. That's why Bob Marley was humble. That's why the Wailers and all of those guys from Jamaica were very humble talking about the Black American influence on their music. That's why Sergio Mendes is humble about it. That's why Tito Puente was humble about it. Because
Santana, I've heard Santana give it up.
Yeah, very humble about it. It's the insecure tethers. It's the insecure people who left their country. They're in a new country trying to hold on to something. They really, really, really want to be white, but they can't. So
that's deep.
This is the thing with these tethers. They want to be white, and they identify as white on their ID. They're culturally Black, and they're culturally they say they're Black, but then when it comes down to it, they say they're native or their home country where they come from. They all play between three identities. Even the darkest African. That motherfucker want to be white too, but the only thing white is his teeth and his tuxedo shirt with no cummerbund. Those are the only two things white on them. And so they want to be that. So, but at the end of the day, they know they can't pull nonsense with white people. They know down deep inside white people do not accept them. So we do. We accept them. And they know we accept them. But at the same time, they come from environments that are anti-Black. And so since they come from an anti-Black environment, they turn around and they treat us the way they treat the Black people at their homeland, including the Africans, because that's why it's skin lightening cream. So I can now put myself up in a different class. These are dynamics at home. And on top of that, the biggest reason why that's been able to happen is because at the end of the day, we've always accepted it. You see how this small little, all we've done so far is this. Boom. Oh, you offended me. You called me an African booty scratcher.
Right.
Like, that's like 5. When we was 5.
Yeah, like that's like African booty scratcher was a joke that the kid with no jokes said. Or after you finish cracking jokes, you didn't have nothing else to say. You call some. I got called an African booty scratcher.
Say that. I got called one.
I got called one at Nike Tiffany Preschool, Crenshaw and Florence. I got called an African booty scratcher, and that made me be like, you know what? I am never going to get clowned again. That dude got me with that joke. I got to learn some jokes.
Right, well, that joke says that he's blacker than most Black people. Did you hear him say that?
What?
Yeah, can you play this clip, Sincere?
Where you got it at?
In the
y'all playing?
No,
I don't believe you.
No, he said I just put in the materials right now.
And I hate when they say shit like this, because what they referring to is the most gutter part of Black society that they can think of.
Yep.
Right.
I had that
in the source materials.
Yes, I just put it in there right now. Sorry.
No, I don't see it.
I had that a few years ago when I used to drive Uber. I had some Mexicans in my car saying, nigga, this is like 2016. And I'm like, hey, y'all can't say that in my car. And they like, what do you mean? We come from the hood just like you.
Right. I hate that.
I got them, but before I kicked them out of my car, I said, look, man, Blackness ain't judged by the hood. The hood is a condition that we were placed in. You chose to leave where you come from to go there. I say you ain't black until you can show me where you invented the refrigerator, until you show me where you invented the light bulb, until you show me where you invented jazz and hip hop. At that point, you black. If you can't show me you invented none of that stuff, get out my face.
Until you can show me you built America, nigga, from scratch.
Yeah, show me you built your village.
Well, show me that. Visit your village that is built up.
Oh, what the fuck going on here? All right, here go Fat Joe.
Where it was all black, you know what I'm saying? So, it was like, you know, like I consider myself black too. Right. Like, as weird as it sounds, I'm proud to be Latino. I waved the flag.
You've been in the black delegation. Don't worry about it. Don't worry.
You know what I'm saying? I'm serious.
No,
like I'm black.
Right.
It's weird because I tell black people that all the time, and they be like, "Yo, what do you mean?" Like, nigga, I'm black. Nigga, like, what you? I'm blacker than you because you want to be a black white guy. I'm a Spanish black nigga. You understand what I'm saying?
No, hell yeah,
nigga. You want to be a Harvard black nigga. Nigga, I'm black, nigga. To me, I was ways where.
Yeah.
See, now that shows you right. He has. I'm looking in his eyes as he says that, and this brother's dealing with for real identity issues. Like, for real. What do you mean a Harvard nigga? First of all, why you said nigga? Right. Second of all, what's his name was Harvard? Y'all know the book Miseducation of the Negro. Carter G. Woodson.
Yeah, Carter G. Woodson. Yeah,
he Harvard.
Mm-hmm.
He black.
Mm-hmm.
My wife went to Duke. That make her not be. She got a Duke degree. She not black because she got a degree from a prestigious university.
Right.
Like, black isn't always a struggle, and this is how I know this to be so all the way. This is why I hate that. I grew up in 3 areas of LA primarily. 3 different areas. 3 different experiences. All in LA, black LA. One was over off like Broadway and Main Street on the east side, east of the 110 freeway. That's where my grandparents were. That's where I spent most of the 80s. You know, my parents lived on the west side. I was always at my grandparents' house, and I was always walking through that. I would walk down to the Coliseum to go swim. They had the Olympic pool out there. And my other areas, Crenshaw Rodeo, that's more lower middle class black, but still in the hood. The jungle's right down the street. Yep. I'm hearing gunshots 3 and 4 times a week. I mean, I didn't know how traumatized I was because I saw 3 people get shot by the time I was 9. You know, I grew up in that part of South Central where they filmed Boys in the Hood. All them notorious parts of LA they talk about is where I grew up. And then when I got older, my parents moved to View Park. And View Park is where the black people live that got bread. House with a view of the city. So, and that's closer to where my wife grew up, and she grew up in Ladera. And my wife grew up in an environment where it's just like, I remember talking to my wife about the riots. When the riots happened, she didn't recognize none of the stuff that was burning. I recognized everything that was burning. She didn't recognize none of it. Like, she told me she didn't even understand black people struggled until the riots, because she grew up in an all-black neighborhood with across the street's a city councilman. Next to that is a president of Motown. Her dad, I don't know how many damn hits he have. You can't. Down the street is another city councilman. Another neighbor owns 7 schools, and that's the whole neighborhood. And so I grew up seeing in the whole neighborhood where my parents were. Our next door neighbor owned 2 schools. The person across the street owned the newspaper. And this is black people in the 90s in LA. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
And at the same time, it's a constant stream of genius, whether I was on the east side, in the middle, in the Crenshaw district, or up in the hills in View Park, Ladera Heights. All the time I saw black people who were neighborly, they were friendly, and none of us liked the thugs. People act like we like the gangs. Like, get out of here. We don't want y'all here.
Right.
And that's 95% of black people. The gangs are the kids messing around that the news point to. The rest of black people don't want to deal with that.
Yes.
So when I personally get offended because I'm as black as they come.
Right.
But I know black don't struggle. I ain't never struggled. You ain't gonna ever hear me talk about I was never no gang. I ain't ever missed a meal. You can tell. My credit's good. I've never been late on a bill in my life. I don't know this. That is like, I'm not rich. You know what I mean? But black and struggle is a condition that we were placed in. But they ain't nothing. We black, man. We can handle a little bullshit ass problems they throw our way. We still good. So for Fat Joe to equate black with going to Harvard and struggling, that shows you he really clueless as to what it really is.
That's an anti-black statement. That's an
anti-black
statement. You know what I'm saying? And you know, I can understand a lot of people are brainwashed and programmed. You know what I'm saying? America is genius at marketing. You know what I'm saying? And this is what they have shown us to be. They take the lowest common denominator in black society and they give that the most shine. They elevate that and make that the representative of all black people. So I can understand some people being confused by that. You know what I'm saying? But if you're confused, just be quiet. Sit down somewhere. You're not qualified to speak.
Yeah, and it just shows how you really view us. You really view us at our worst.
And you know, if we took the bottom denominator of their culture and say that we're, you know, emulating or mimicking that, they would be offended.
You start in trouble. You start in trouble with that, because if you take the bottom of their culture, man, you're gonna be slum dogging it left and right.
Yeah, we ain't got nothing on them. None of these.
Y'all low, so y'all low, man. What's stopping y'all from building an outhouse and crapping in that? When we were at our lowest, we didn't crap in the streets. We built an outhouse with a hole in it. They go do your business back there. We ain't gonna have it in the middle of our roads. I don't care that we enslaved. I don't care that we're just out of slavery and sharecropping and don't own anything. We're vagrants. You gonna take a crap on that hole over there. And then when we got tired of that hole, we invented a plumbing system that America adopted. America adopted the plumbing system that we built. So, I used to work when I was in South Central LA. I told you my area I worked was from Compton to the south and the east, downtown to the north, the jungles to the west, and Inglewood to the west. I was in the Pueblos, the Nickerson Gardens, all the projects you don't heard about. On one level, they talk about LA's gang problem. People knew when I came up, I was there to help the kids, the gang members. They never pressed me. I only got banged on one time in my life, and I was in the 7th grade. My dog had got out the yard, and Dorsey was just getting out of school, and I had some blue shoes on, and somebody banged on me when I was in middle school. I was like, man, I'm getting my dog. It ain't that serious like that. It is if you perpetrate, but if you ain't about that life and you make it clear you ain't about that life, it ain't what they make it to be. The gang members knew I was there to help the kids out, so they would tell me, man, DeAndre was on a rock throwing on the roof, throwing rocks off the roof. I'm coming to the Imperial Courts. The gangsters are telling me what the kid did.
Right.
And so, yeah, I worked in that kind of environment. And when I would go into these black households, I don't care if I was in the worst hood. The floor was mopped. You dig what I'm saying? I mean, they didn't have Cheeto wrappers all over the place. Like even the dirties of the dirty, they bathroom wasn't all messed up and clogged up. They kitchen didn't have dishes running all out the place. They would at least have the decency to clean up when I came. It could have been, we just have a certain thing about us that, you know what I mean? And I ain't talking about it's the exception when you're dealing with the ones that are dirty. That's the 2 out of 1,000.
Right.
The rest of us, we don't really do filth like that, man.
Right.
No
That's really cleanliness is really a part of the culture, man. Your moms ain't let you go out the crib looking crazy. You better put some lotion on. She done greased you up. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just part of the culture, man.
Let me tell you, when
you better not walk out the house like you've been punching sandbags with them ashy knuckles.
When I met my Trinidadian friend at work, we were working together, and when she first came to my house, I kid y'all not, and I told Sincere this story. The first thing she was like, "Oh my God, your house is so clean," and I was like, in my head, like, what was it supposed to be? And honestly, this is during a time where I wasn't as awakened as I am now, so I'm looking at we're all black. I'm not looking at the cultural differences. I'm just looking at we're all black. And there was a lot of things that she was saying to me, during that time. Hindsight is 2020. I'm like, damn. Like she was anti-foundational Black American like a mug, saying certain things.
And we be so cool. We be like, whatever. Could we look at them and be like, y'all really like, Is it? No, I didn't hear that. I didn't hear that.
Right.
That's how we really be. Like,
maybe this is one of our black jokes. You know, we said crazy things to one another growing up. This is what I was thinking, but later on I realized, like, nah, this is her anti-black sentiments. She told me that when they came here from Trinity, you know, her parents specifically told her not to hang with black girls. She didn't say black Americans. She said black, but
that's
now
what black
understand
means.
that's what she meant. Yes. Right. She specifically said, I don't date black guys. I only date white guys or Hispanic guys. Like that's, now she did say, I'll F a black guy, but I'm not going to be with one. These are things that she was saying. Like, and I was just like, well, girl, how can you say that and you black? Don't you want some black babies? Because I want all black babies. You know, so yeah.
It's this weird, it's this crazy self-hatred thing. See, black, here's how I look at it. They have a true self-hatred. We have a true inferiority complex. We don't really hate ourselves. Black people are kind of cool just being black. We really don't want to be white like that. But we really feel inferior. Our biggest poison is inferiority as black Americans. We don't see ourselves as good enough. We don't see ourselves as worthy. And so since we don't see ourselves as worthy, we allow others to trample on our culture because subconsciously we're not worthy. We're trying to reach that level of acceptance subconsciously because we got to remember the subconscious is 90% of brain activity. Right. Our actions are all dedicated upon pre-dedicated on what's going on in that subconscious mind. That subconscious mind controls everything. So even though we talk a certain way, walk a certain way, we really want things to just be cool and to be accepted. And that's something that we're going through the cleansing process now, especially in the last 8 years. About halfway through Obama's presidency, we realized, we ain't gonna get the help. So we realized about 2014, like help ain't coming. We got to help ourselves. And so we're a lot further along now, just in 8 short years. Think about where we were back then versus now. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then, but those people, they hate themselves. That's where the skin bleaching cream comes from. That's where the trafficking your own babies come from. Because we don't have no sex trafficking culture. The Whisperers got a song called Olivia the Slave, Lost and Turned Out. Don't buy that man no new Seville. We got music talking about human trafficking back in the 70s. Lost and Turned Out by the Whisperers. Beautiful song. Go listen to it.
I'm sure.
You know, that's not part of our culture. The gangs of children fighting over an economy that was given to them because the legal economy was taken from them. Before this illegal economy came around, known as crack, known as what's the drug game, when black people had jobs in 1967 in South Central LA, there was one murder in LA in 18 months between the end of the Watts riots and the beginning of 1968. One murder.
Wow, that's heavy.
Because during that time, during that time, UCLA was offering free tuition. That's why so many Black Panthers were in UCLA. There were programs to get things done. Community centers. There were jobs. So we don't hurt each other when there's opportunity. Them, on the other hand, they've been at war with each other. These Igbos and these houses, and no disrespect to Igbos or houses, I got some friends that are from all them damn tribes. That's why I know so much about them. Because I've had, long before this stuff happened, I've been having people I knew in these different tribes. And they talk about they infighting that's going on and how it's the government and then the scamming culture that they have with one another, allowing white folks to come down and take their kids off to the beach. That is self-hate.
Wow.
That's a subconscious self-hate playing. Those are the expressive behaviors of self-hate. We have the expressive behaviors of inferiority, and that's the difference.
Now, I never really looked at it like that per se, but that's deep right there. You know what I'm saying? My thing was always, I think it was John Henry Clark that said it. We suffer from our great humanity. You know what I'm saying? I always looked at it like we just so accepting of everyone. You know what I'm saying? We just feel like everyone else sees the world the way we see the world. Everyone else sees humanity the way we see humanity. And so we can't even fathom, you know, the way that these people get down, because we would never do that to them. You know what I'm saying? We would never think like that. But what you're saying does kind of hit home when you really think about it, because like you said, 90% of how we operate is based on what's taking place in the subconscious. It's not the part of us that we're aware of. It's the same part of us that makes our fingernails grow and our hair grow, that controls 90% of who we are as a people. And so when you look at the results of the actions, we have to go into that subconscious to figure out what's taking place. Right? So with that being said, I want to get your thoughts on the clip that we opened up with Neely Fuller talking about shadow boxing as a coping mechanism. Instead of us dealing with the actual problem, instead of us dealing with the open enemy, we start shadow boxing with each other as a coping mechanism. Do you think this whole argument with who created hip hop, us calling out the tethers and calling out the coons in our society and things like that, do you think that's an escape form of coping mechanism, shadow boxing, like what he's talking about, or is this something that's necessary in order for us to get to the next level?
It's necessary for us to get to the next level, because what's taught is two different things. When we're battling them, we're battling them. The shadow boxing is us foundational Black Americans shadow boxing other foundational Black Americans, and we do that. That's what created the schism for these other people to lay claim to our culture. We're so busy shadow boxing one another. Others, that gives others space. We so busy saying, man, New York is better than Chicago. Chicago better than Atlanta. Atlanta better than LA. And we doing all this shadow boxing about whose region is better. And then here come these immigrants saying, okay, now it's ours.
Right.
That's the shadow boxing right there. We shadow box because of our inferiority complex makes us feel less than when it comes to the white supremacists. We don't feel like we're ready. We don't feel like we can win. We don't feel good enough. We don't feel worthy. That's why we don't fight them. But we're getting there. Now, when it comes to these immigrants taking our stuff, we know they ain't shit. So fight, you know, you know what I mean? So that they don't have Scud missiles and launch codes behind them like the white supremacists do.
Right.
And that's one level. Two, they would have been able to do this same move years and years ago, maybe. But right now we're waking up. You know what I mean? So they're doing this at a time. We've already been on a close to decade-long crusade at getting our stuff and really waking up. So they're coming in while we've been sleeping this whole time. They're coming in while we yawning. You know, we getting out of bed like, trying to check our phone for the day. And we open the phone and it say Jamaicans create hip-hop.
Who the fuck is this nigga?
Yeah, that's where we are with them.
Right.
It's necessary because I look at it like this. Another thing that I do, or used to do, that I didn't talk about, I used to coach basketball. And I've gotten players to the NBA. I got them to D1 college. I've gotten them all over. I love basketball. But I look at things like basketball and music. Because basketball and music, when I coach basketball, I apply the same principles I apply when I'm a band director, when I got a band. Same team principles apply. The first thing you must do when you're coaching, when you're on a team sport, is you have to identify everybody's role on the team. And then you have to, before you even identify everyone's role, first of all, you got to find out who's qualified for the team. But with us being Black, we are born with the same uniform. So it's not as easy as saying, oh, you don't belong here, you don't belong here. We got to go through tryouts. And on them tryouts, okay, Brother Mbuki over there, he running like he got 2 left hips. So do I want him on my team? You know what I mean? So, well, how we're scouting the team is, okay, what are you saying? How are you talking? How are you walking? What's your contribution? If I have somebody on my team who, the minute I cross somebody over and I dish you the pass, and you, instead of you shooting the ball, you passing it to the other team, I can't win. I can't put a player on my court who every time it's time to get a rebound, he getting the rebound and giving it back to the other team. That's what's been going on. These people are born with our uniform on, but when we get out into the game, we've been wondering why we losing. We've been fighting each other like, why are we losing this? Why we keep losing? We fighting. Now we realizing, oh, this nigga Roland Martin keep passing the ball right back to them white boys.
Say that.
Oh, Busta Rhymes got our jersey on, but he getting paid by the other team. Oh, so you gotta clean house first before I go. That's why you have training camp. That's why you have a whole month of getting on code in the team. If I'm going on concert, if I'm playing going on tour, it's gonna be about 6 weeks of rehearsing, 10, 12 hours a day to make sure I'm locked in. So before I go face that crowd, we all on the same team. Because if we in the band and you not playing your part, you supposed to be in C, but every time you in C, you in E sharp, I can't win this performance. I got to get somebody on bass that's going to play that C, not play that E sharp. So that's what we're doing. We're getting people who've been off key, who've been off focus, who every time they pass the ball, they turn the ball over. We're getting them off the team. And then once I get them off the team, now I can win. So we're doing something that's very necessary.
Great analogy. Great analogy. Where you want to go with this, sis?
I was saying we cleaning house up in here.
Cleaning house.
Cleaning house. Should have been done a long time ago. So I want to talk about, well, we kind of talked about it, but we didn't talk about why he decided to do the merch. You know,
the tree.
The tree. Like, what inspired that to begin with? I've been on your website. I see the merch. I see the canvas. I think that is beautiful. I love what it is. I love what it represents. But what inspired you to do this and why?
Well, by the time we get to January, the talk isn't dying down. I'm thinking this whole Pete Rock, Busta Rhymes thing is like so stupid. I'm thinking it's just a Twitter topic for a few days and it's going to be done with. By the time we get to January, they still talking. And the talk really started to blow up last summer. So between last summer and last January, I noticed a lot of black people were coming to me asking me questions. Me personally, again, I didn't start this to become a music historian. This was all for just my own personal information because I'm curious. I have to know. I figured, me being the person I am, I figured everybody knew what I knew. And it's funny, I told my wife that. I thought everybody knew this stuff. She looked at me like, fool, no. And so I thought, I'm telling you right now, 95%, outside of my personal stories that I tell, I figured everything else was common knowledge. What I started to see since this was going on is black people didn't have the language. We knew they were wrong, but we didn't have the language to fight them back. Too many black people did not know enough about our history. And I was like, I want to write a book and do a documentary. Well, I ain't got the bread to do a documentary right now, and I don't have the time to write a book. And the book is going to take forever to come out. And at the time, I was thinking about, I was already starting this other book that I'm just now finishing. So I knew a book was out the way. So I said, you know what? If I do it as a tree, that'll make it just something simple people can go to and run to, and you can see the roots of everyone else's music. Brilliant. And if they have any questions, they can pick up a book and find out that my tree is right. And so 80% of this tree was done off memory. I woke up on a Saturday morning. I did an Incense and Ashtrays that Friday night, and I was talking to my chat room. I see people that be in the chat room, Stars in here. Stars in the chat room.
Yes, indeed. Shout out to Star. Shout
out to Star. She was in my Incense and Ashtrays chat room. We playing music. And I'm like, you know, people were saying, you know, I done a YouTube broadcast earlier. They were thanking me for some stuff that I said. And I was in my Incense and Ashtrays. I said, you know what? I think I'm going to create a music tree for y'all so y'all can get this down. So I woke up Saturday morning, and 80% of it is off memory, off the top of my head. And then after that, I had a whole bunch of books with dust on them, ordered some new books, ordered some peer-reviewed journals, some scholarly work. Because I was like, okay, it's out there, but I got to make sure I'm right. You know what I mean? I got to be right. I don't want nobody saying this, you know? So I bought a whole bunch of books. And after that day, I spent like 9 hours just putting everything in place. And then from there, I ordered a bunch of books and started rewatching some old documentaries. And I spent about 6 months just every day, replaying, putting things. No, this here. No, this goes here. That's what took most of the time, was just organizing it and get it exactly right. And then I hit up my graphic artist, Joe Fox, He does all of my graphic artwork for all of my T-shirts.
Shout out to Joe.
Shouts out to Joe Fox. I said I got to get something because one thing about me, when it comes to y'all don't know how much I love black people. When it comes to us, I have to give us our best. You're only going to give my best. That's it. If you like, I manage 4 apartment buildings. My tenants are black in a gentrified South Central LA. And I make sure the grass is cut, the water's clean. If they call for a complaint, that shit's fixed that night or the next day. My tenants don't have to wait 2 days for me to get back to them. You get my best. You come over my house, I'm not gonna have some dirty weed. You gonna smoke my best weed. I'm not gonna have no pop-off vodka. You gonna drink my best vodka. Whatever I got, you get my best. And I get that from my mom. My mom always said, do your best. And so I said, because I originally did the tree on Canva, and it was looking cool, but I said, if I present something to black people, it shit gotta be right. It can't just be something thrown together. I don't shortchange my people like that. Whatever we get is gonna be my best. And so me and Joe spent 5 months refining the artwork in the tree. 5 months. Just every day. Like, because there's nuances in this tree. I wish I had my actual canvas, but when you look, I can't, my mic's in the way, but when you see like the stump, I got stand-up comedy in here, poetry, because we invented that too. I got sacred spiritual. This right here is just the first 300 years of black music in the stump of the tree. And then I show how it flowers out as we get into the 1800s and the 1900s. And I have a figure of a black woman, because the black woman is the mother of all. I don't play all that black woman's God, black man, woman, and child is God.
Yes, indeed.
All three, the Trinity. All
the
three
Holy
of us
Trinity.
God. I don't believe in making one over the other, but we got to go first things first.
The white supremacist sign.
I'm on the white supremacist. I got my fingers like
they got that from us too.
Right. But it's like okay, cool. So I'm like, when I got the tree, I was I said something about 3. What did I say? I lost my train of thought.
The Holy Trinity.
The Holy Trinity. Man, woman, and child. That's the Trinity, though. That's God right there, all 3. But first things first, we all come from a woman.
Hold on. No, Mama Love. You need the canvas. You need the canvas. That goes on the wall.
You need the canvas. Get the canvas. The canvas is on incenseandashtrays.com.
We gonna pull up the websites for y'all in a little while.
Yeah. But man, woman, child. And so I'm like, but first things first, we all come from that black woman. So even though the men are responsible for 95% of the creation of music. Even when you have women singing, you usually have the men doing the producing. That's generally our role on earth. We all have our roles. The men usually do most of the creating the music. You have your exceptional women that do it too. But the men still come from a woman. And the wisdom, and it takes a man to tap into his feminine aspect of creativity to produce good music. Men aren't going to create music from the masculine mind. Men create music from the feminine mind. And so I wanted to acknowledge, even though every genre that I have on here, 99% of them, the creation is going to be by a man, it still comes from the woman, because we still come from the woman. So that's why I have the picture of the woman and the black woman as the one that's holding, as the one that's that the tree is under.
That's the canvas.
But yeah, we got them in canvas, we got them in just photo paper, and we got them also in framed. So if your budget's tight, you can just get the photo paper and frame it yourself. If you want us already framed, get the framed one. But my favorite one is this canvas,
right?
Because it pops off. You hang down the wall, be like, boop.
Right. And as far as the budget is concerned, I mean, think about what this man said about the work that was put into it, about the investment, the energy and the sweat that was made, the mental capacity that it took to really put this together. He did, how much you said, 80% of it off the top of your head?
80% of it, but 6 months of refinement every day.
Right. So the other 20% still took another 6 months just to make sure that it was high level, that it was right and exact, and that it was quality and it's well thought out. Every detail is well thought out. I love it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, this is a piece of history right here. This is foundational Black American history right here.
I wanted to show how reggae evolved from R&B. Not just say it. I wanted to show how K-pop evolved from soul music, and I wanted to show how EDM evolved from disco, and how disco evolved from the blues, and how the blues evolved from space sacred spirituals. It's like it's one thing to tell somebody what it is. It's nothing to explain to them how that happened. And I also have music reviews on there too.
Yeah, since we here talk about the incense and ashtrays.
Yeah, Incense and Ashtrays is a music show. I do it live on Mixcloud. So when y'all see that Mixcloud, it's been kind of dormant the last couple months because the live show because I've been so busy. But it's usually on Friday and Sunday live on Mixcloud. And when I'm done with it, I upload it to Apple Podcasts and Spotify. But I also have reviews. And over on my music review tab, I mostly review classic albums. I'm going to start reviewing some more current stuff too pretty soon, but my time has just gotten pulled in so many directions. But, I have my classic album reviews. We talk about artists that have recently passed away. It's a full-on music blog. I broke down on one of them, how dive into how messages are encoded within Black music. You know what I mean? I got tired of people not.
And you do one on Michael Jackson?
Yeah, I did one on Michael Jackson and the militancy within Michael Jackson's music. My boy Larry did Jay Dilla. We about to have Dr. Randy Short do some articles on old school Motown.
Shout out to Randy Short.
Yeah. So much.
So, and I wrote an article on claiming on how we need to claim our music and how to claim our music. You know what I mean? So I got, I'm tired of these other publications misrepresenting our music. So instead of crying and complaining about them, I created my own.
Any thoughts on getting these in a tangible platform, like a magazine or something that we can actually own offline?
Not now. Eventually, yes. But my next move is to the metaverse.
Okay.
Because that's where it's going. Like
Smart,
I was I have my metaverse world getting built right now. I was on the phone earlier with my man J Mo. He's gonna be on one of my episodes of Incense and Ashtrays in the metaverse, playing that guitar, playing some of his music. You know what I mean? And the future's in the metaverse. You know what I mean? I see the metaverse where the internet was back in 1996. Back in 95, 96. Everybody, when I was in Yahoo chat in 1997, everybody was like, why are you in that Yahoo chat room, man? That's the internet. You need to get out into the real world. Get yourself a real job.
We ain't know what was going on in 96. We ain't know shit.
Yeah, they were selling us all that stuff. And I remember, but the people who was ahead on the internet, they're the ones that got a lot of money and was winning right away. And so what's happening right now at the metaverse is where the internet was. We cannot like it. We cannot want it. You can talk about it's going to be the end of the world, yada, 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 yada. I got my digital real estate, DwannBrown.x.
Yes,
you know what I mean? DwannB.NFT. And that Incense and Ashtrays.NFT. I own those domains, and I'm building a whole world, and we got music and comedy in that world.
In the verse.
And that happens every time, the new form of technology, especially in communications, comes to the forefront. I don't even remember what it was that I read, but I was reading something one time, and they was talking about how people were afraid of the telephone when the telephone first came out. People first started getting phones in their house. You have fathers that was like, that talking box, I don't want that thing in my house. You're gonna be able to talk to my daughter when I ain't home. Like, people was tripping out over the phone. You know what I'm saying? So that's just like a human thing, man.
Remember back in the 80s, the only people that need a cell phone or a pager was a doctor or a drug dealer. Those are the only people with a cell phone, the doctor and the drug dealer. What are you doing with that cell phone and that pager? All right, you can be like that if you want to. I'm not gonna tell you how you shouldn't be, but I see what's coming. So I'm getting my digital real estate now, and the way I see it, I'm putting Black music and our history in that world because that's the world that the kids are living in. And I got some artists, that's gonna be doing the show that, hey, some people may consider culture vultures. I don't know, because they're not all the way Black. They're going to be on Innocence and Ashtrays, and I'm not letting people. I'm letting people know right now. I'm taking advantage because those black mixed artists got huge followings, and their followings are in the metaverse, and their followings are going to finance everything else that I have for black people. So it's one of those things where I can take advantage just like they can.
Right.
And I don't get caught up in that like that. You know what I'm saying? Gatekeeping doesn't mean that we can't work with other people. You know what I'm saying? Making the black dollar circulate and practicing group economics doesn't mean we can't do business with non-black people. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't even make sense. We're not going to get nowhere just trying to work with just us foundational black Americans. We don't have the numbers to really do empire building like that. You know what I'm saying? We have to collaborate and link up with people from other groups who have certain resources and things that we need.
But you had a person like Miss Michi X that was shaming Vicky Dillard for sending her a cease and desist to a white lawyer.
Right. You got to work with who's going to help you get to the next level.
Period.
And if I can get an artist that has a huge following and they get my content, the revenue I make off that, what can I do with it for black people? Think about that.
Right.
That's how I think. If it's going to be financially advantageous to me, 1, 2, it's not going to harm my people in mass.
Right.
Now, I'm not going to do no Jay-Z move and say, hey, we done protesting after I say we going to protest. I'm not going to pull no sucker stuff. I see my people are in a certain political position. I'm not going to make money in a way that's going to harm the overall political position of black people. That's where I draw the line. But if it's something that's not going to, if it's just a deal between me and this person, and they're going to make some money, I'm going to make some money, let's go.
Or especially if it's your project, it's something that you calling the shots and you in charge of. Like, my brother hit me up. You know, he got some real estate stuff going on. He bought a bunch of properties down in Alabama. And they got some shit going on in the area he's at where they got a bunch of Jamaicans that's doing all the work, that's doing all the dirty work. You know what I'm saying? And so he felt some type of way because the Jamaicans is taking the foundational black Americans' jobs. These are jobs that they used to do. You know what I'm saying? So he hit me up like, yo, like, you know, they could get the job done and it's for a cheaper price, but I kind of don't feel right. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I was like, you in charge, you calling the shots out here, and you got business that you need to handle that's going to benefit foundational black Americans at the end of it. Mm-hmm. So handle your business, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You ain't got to feel no type of way about that. That's not no off-code behavior.
Yeah, handle your business. You know what I mean? You see white folks hire other groups all the time if it's gonna make them be a little bit better at it. But just don't break the overall. Don't do like that brother at Roscoe's did. Roscoe's had got sued about 15 years ago because they was promoting Mexicans over the black employees. Like, don't do nothing like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. Don't have nothing to be like, okay, now I'm bringing this other person to lord over the black people. You know? Yeah, that's where you should probably draw the line. But if it's to get a job done or something like that, I get it. Look, we got to be very intelligent on how we approach the system that we deal with. We're always going to have to, as long as the system exists, we're going to have to interact with it and face with it and get resources from it and go to it for resources. That's because that's the system. These people saying that, man, black people, if we didn't spend our money for 2 years and if we didn't buy nothing that a white person that made or a Chinese person made, that means you be walking around naked.
It's impractical. Exactly. It's impractical.
It's impractical. So you got to pick and choose where you interact with the system and be smart with it. And wherever you make your money, wherever you make your profit, find ways to. And sometimes the profit isn't just monetarily. Sometimes it's mental. Sometimes it's something that you learn. We just got to get into a habit of sharing with one another, either the information that we have. If we have any kind of, we made some money now, we have a choice. We're going to go buy some retail and we see a black person in a white, and of course we're going to shop black. But certain things, you're going to have to shop with them other people. And that's just what it is until we get it back. And then eventually, one by one, but that requires everybody to find their own path.
Their lane, yep.
Find your lane.
That was my next question, because you spoke earlier on about your purpose and finding your purpose. When you're mentoring or talking to other people who have not necessarily tapped into their purpose, such as myself, because I still don't know, I'm still figuring it out. What guidance do you give someone who is trying to tap into their own purpose?
I'll give you two answers. I'll give you the pre-cardology answer and the post-cardology answer. Before I learned the playing cards, what I would do is, and I still do this even with the playing cards. You got to really tap into what you really like to do. What just makes you wake up in the morning, what you would do for free. Oftentimes the thing that purpose is right here on the edge of your nose. It's so close you don't see it. We end up following what other people say we should do. Go get a degree. Go find that job. Oh, this job is paying this. That job is an external thing, when really that path is on the inside. You got to really tap into what you really, really, really like and what you really feel, what motivates you, what drives you. And through that, find out what industries are in that field. Find out what are the ways people make money in that. Like when I used to work with kids that were just hell bent on basketball, but like I'm looking at them like, you're not gonna make the NBA. But I can't tell them that. You 5'7", and you look like you got two left hands. You're not gonna make it. But I can't tell them that. But I'll say, you know what? You have coaching, you have athletic trainers, you have agents, you have lawyers, you have owners, you have general managers. You have like these 50 things that make money around this thing. Educate yourself on what those things are that make money around that thing that you're passionate about, and see if you have something that you may fit in. Nowadays, also, I still do that, but I integrate it with my cards. Like when I read somebody's cards, and I can find where their wealth is, where their motivations are, where their life paths are. The cards, people have every individual has a 13 card spread. And in that 13 card spread, you can find where the friendships are. You can find who to avoid, what industries to avoid. I mean, I can read relationships. I can read point of view. I can read purpose. You can read almost basically anything you want in the playing cards. And that's why I picked up the science. Let me tell you something. When I picked up this science, it wasn't to be a card reader. That wasn't the initial purpose. The initial purpose was, I'm already here helping people out. There's a science out there that can help me be better at it. That's my only motivation for learning this. It's just that since I've made it more, because I've been doing this for a while, I just recently made it public. I was so scared to tell people I do this because people was going to be like, man, this Hotep nigga, what the fuck? You got people just coming out of church like, ooh, he's into that woozy stuff. Voodoo. Ooh, he's so I didn't want to deal with that. So for a long time, I didn't tell people I knew this science. You know what I mean? It took months of me fighting and clashing with myself because before that, I would just read the card when I have a session with somebody. I would just read the cards as a cheat code. Then come to them like, see, your problem is, blah, blah, blah. And they'd be like, how'd you know that? I'm like, well, it's because of the questionnaire I gave you. And you answered the question so accurately, I got tired of BSing people. I'm like, you know what? This is what I do. Yeah. And since I put it out there, I find I get more work with the cardology sessions than I do on everything else. It's just one thing I'm proud of and happy of. Black people are embracing our sciences. And not only is it black people, I get so many black men that hit me up for consultations.
I'm glad you said our sciences.
It's our science, man.
Right.
It's one thing, we know that, but then we'll say it's our science, then turn around and be like, well, why them white people doing it? Well, they ain't gonna have a job if we pick it up, because we gonna do it doper than them, because we do everything doper than everybody. So I'm like, instead of me crying and complaining about what they doing with our stuff, let me pick up my aspect of the science, something that I was attracted to and drawn to. Like I heard about, I tried numerology. I know the other stuff too. That's all. None of that ever made me want to get deep enough into it to study the whole science of it. But when I came across these cards, I felt something in my spirit. I was like, I gotta learn. And then right when I was talking to my wife, like, I really want to learn them cards. And then this is a while ago. And then I said, I heard Aquarius say she's gonna do a class and I looked on her website. Her class started that next day. I was like, oh shit! It just came to my mind. And I went to the website. They class started the next day. Like that has to be it. So I went with it. And again, it was just because like I like helping people, but I also don't want you as my client for here coming to my house every week for 9 months talking about your problems. I've done that. I don't want to do that no more.
Right.
I'm like, I can cut right to the chase in a deck of cards, and y'all go to my website and go read the reviews for yourself. This ain't our reviews are lovely.
Is it this one, the Hotep-ish website, or is it the other one?
BreakthroughAS.org.
Okay, Breakthrough AS. Let me pull that up.
Yeah, BreakthroughAS.org. Because and then the book when you go to the booking page.
And by the way, let me put that on the screen too.
Can you read bad spirits? Like when someone just has a bad spirit, like, you know, does the card tell you that?
I don't necessarily read the spirit. I can read their season. Can we break things down? I can break it down by day. But I can read what 7-week cycle you're in. And because sometimes you may be in a cycle, then I could juxtapose it to the card of the week or the card of the day. And through that triangulation, I can figure out pretty fast what's going on and what's holding you back. Like if I'm dealing with somebody and they're talking about they want to fight, they just seem like they've just been at war with their spouse, and I put up this spread, and if I see they have a 3 of diamonds in that 7-week spread, I can tell them like, oh, okay, you're in a 3 of diamonds season right now. 3 of diamonds is a card of struggle. It's also the card of big rewards, but big rewards come with big struggles. It's a card of confrontation. It's a card of pettiness, a card of fighting. Donald Trump is he's a 3 of diamonds. So if I see that you're in a 3 of diamonds season in your life, or if we're in a 3 of diamonds day, I'm like, okay, yeah, you're dealing with pettiness. You're dealing with somebody, or you may have certain issues with a certain person. I'll read their card spread and be like, okay, that person's a 3 of clubs. 3 of clubs is the card of war. It's a card of confrontation. It's a card, So just based on what's going on in somebody's card spread and where their card is placed, I can figure out what's going on in their mind.
Didn't you do like Kobe Bryant and Nipsey Hussle or somebody?
Yeah. I did that. What I did was I did a reading on Kobe's life and his death, and one of the death cards is that 5 of spades. That's a card of sudden death, and depending on where it's placed in somebody's year,
man,
and Nipsey, Kobe, and Michael Jackson are, if I see that 5 of spades in your Jupiter, then it's nothing. But if I see that is your peak or your result of and it comes down to, and it's not just a death card, because that card also could mean instant blessings too, sudden change for the good. I have to sort of read everything else going on around your life. It's only the card of death when you've accomplished all your goals. Because that's the card of sudden changes, but only changes it's only death of, like Michael Jackson, there was nothing else for him to do. Right. His last show was This Is It. He was telling you this is it.
Right.
You know what I mean? When it comes to Kobe came to play basketball. And he was also a 3 of clubs. 3 of clubs is not only is it the card of war, but it's also the card of the writer, the card of the storyteller. So Kobe also, he literally played his cards out. So when I read his 413 card spread, from the sun card to his transition card, he played his cards out. So when he had that 5 of spades in his peak for the year, it's like, okay, now would I have been able to predict that? I don't want to say yes or no. But when you read it in hindsight, it makes sense how it happened, because it not only is going to tell you what's going to happen. The cards will tell you how to happen too.
Wow.
That's why it said violent ending as a 5 of spades, versus if I have a 9 of spades, it might be a little more something different. But that
I want to get mine done. I want to do mine.
I stay away from the death. When I read people, I'm reading how to fix your relationship. I can read I do consultations on how to find your potentials person. Okay, what to look for. I also do consultations on what kind of person you should be looking for, the people that are most compatible. Because one of the major issues with relationships is we look for the people. Oftentimes, we're tuned into what society wants, or what our parents said we should have, or rebellion to what they said we should have. A lot of people don't ever really zero down and get down to who they are and what they want. So they end up picking people based off these other things that aren't even true to them and wonder why it keep going wrong. The cards will help you get back to what's true to you. And when you understand what's true to you, you'll understand how to attract that. And if you are in a relationship and you're going through issues, I have consultations to where I'm like, people are going, they have a relationship consultation, but I'll see a certain card come up. Like if I see a Jack of Hearts come up as y'all composite card, I'm gonna tell you that relationship ain't gonna last.
Just leave.
Just leave. And when I tell them that, they know. That's why they called me. You know, and I can tell you, your relationship can work, but I can literally zero it down to where your issues are in the relationship and also give a solution on how to fix it. That's where I apply my knowledge when it comes to everything I've done before it. So I'm not just reading you, I'm giving you solutions, but my solutions come out of 25 years plus experience working with families.
You want to walk us through this website?
Yeah, what you do is you can click on make an appointment. Oh, also I programs. You can hear programs. I have IEP support because also with that program, I used to also families, a lot of kids with special education,
right? And
that's where I built the company around initially, special education. That's how the company started, helping families put their children in the right programs in school. If you have a kid that has an IEP, I can help you get your kid in the right program, or at least consult you on how to get them in the right program and get the right resources. See, I told you I'll be forgetting what I do. I forgot to even mention my old IEP support program. That's the original purpose of Breakthrough right there.
Right here.
And,
right here.
But
I heard you talk about it was inspired by Raheem Shabazz's documentary, the School to Prison Pipeline.
Yeah, Elementary Genocide.
Elementary Genocide.
Colors. And also Hidden Colors, those two. Because I told you I was so stressed out. I was on this close to a nervous breakdown in 2015 because I saw everything I was trying to do. It seemed like nothing working with these babies I was working with. And I put my heart and soul into these kids, man. And I thought I was messed up. Elementary Genocide and Hidden Colors. When I saw them talking about the whole school system, I said, oh, that's what it is. Oh, hell no, I'm about to learn about this shit. And that's what made me learn about the whole IEP process. And I told y'all before, like, when I see a problem, I learn about it, and then I go fix it, or I don't complain about it. And so I saw that was a problem, so I learned the whole IEP process, and I learned how to get your children the education support they need, paid for by the school district. Now you got to pay me to get that done, but once you get it done, the school system is going to pay for all tutoring and everything else. But if you do that, and then you go back to home, and then click on make an appointment, and then
I think that opened up another screen.
It does open up another screen because I have it little trick. Keeps your website traffic going when you open up new tabs on a new screen. Keep them open. Your watch time on a website longer. A little trick for the SEO.
Nah, that's some good game right there.
That's why you pop up into a new screen because your old screen stays open because the SEO optimization wants to see how long people are visiting your website. So when it goes to a new screen, they forget that tab is open,
and it stays open. Yep, that's a good game right there.
But and that's a game for all you business owners out there. Make your new screens pop up into a new screen. That way you. But you make it.
Right now, it's acting like it don't want to open up.
Oh crap!
Traffic.
It's probably traffic. That's right. But people click on it is simple. Just click on make an appointment. And then you make the appointment directly to the website. I have my services on there, how much they cost, and all that good stuff. And then I'll get an email saying, you have an appointment. And I'll warp my scheduler for the day around that appointment. those appointments.
And you should be getting an email soon saying Mama Love just purchased the canvas. I see my mom's in the chat. She said she copped the canvas already. So
dope. Thank
shout
you.
out to Mama Love.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. And that's the thing, man. I'll be so happy when people buy the stuff and like interact with me. People, man, I love people. I'm distant from oftentimes. Like I like being by myself too. But man,
what
I'm
sign
like,
are
look,
you?
if you're gonna spend your money with me, if you're gonna take your time to listen to me, I want to give you something of value. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you click on book now.
Yep, that's the page right there. Now is book now going to open up another page or?
I don't think so. It should.
Okay,
yeah, there you go.
There we go.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got the full communication consultation, IEP review, school consultation, full cardiology reading.
Yeah, and then other services down low to get a half reading, mini reading. That may be the mini reading is if somebody just want to know, hey, I got this situation going on. How should I approach it? That's a mini reading. Got the 3 reading package because some people really want to get down and consult with what's going on with their family and really fix their relationship issues. Like oftentimes I get people who are married on the brink. They really want to get into it. So for those people, I recommend a 3 reading package because the first is going to be a general reading of both people. The second will be a specific reading of the relationship and the solutions. And the third is going to be a final follow-up on everything because at the end of the day, that's nothing when it comes to working through issues y'all been having for years that you can't figure out. That little price ain't nothing when it comes down to just fixing it. Man. And my reviews speak for themselves.
Say it again, nicely.
I asked him, how many marriages do you think you've saved?
You got reviews on the site, right?
Well over a few dozen. I can't say I saved them. They saved them because they came to me. They wanted to save their relationship. Look, at the end of the day, the primary thing that's going to save a relationship is the motivation of the two people in the relationship. Because all I can do is run my mouth. The people who are in the relationship, they're the ones that got to apply the work. I just run my mouth and I go ahead and do what I got to do. I got my own marriage issues to deal with. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
I love my wife, but ain't no marriage peachy cream. Hell, even me and my wife, we done been through relationship counseling. Everybody need that from time to time. Sometimes you with somebody and y'all just y'all love each other, but it's and you just you saying this, she saying that, and y'all just sometimes you need a referee to be like, hey, he's saying this, you saying that, get it together. That's all. Then you get that and you back on.
Now, do you work with both couples if they want it?
Yeah, I'd rather work with both couples. Now, sometimes you have one person that's not ready and don't want to, so I will work with that one, and through working with that, all needs the other person's birthday. And once I had their birthday, I could tell them, how I can. I don't need to talk to the other person in the relationship to see how they're viewing the relationship. I don't need to talk to them to see their point of view, what they're getting out. The cards tell me how they view the relationship. The cards are telling me what they're getting out of the relationship. The cards are going to tell me what they want from it and what they're offering. But I prefer to talk to both people because if only one person is doing the work, how successful is that going to be? A relationship requires 2 people to really want to put in the work. And oftentimes once I read the card, if I read a person's point of view and I see they have a jack of clubs point of view on the relationship, I'm thinking like, that's probably the person that's going to want to leave. Like I did one reading. The person wanted to find out if the person was the right person for them. And I was like, you probably shouldn't dedicate your time to this person. And they're like, but I really like him. Because I was able to see that was like a 9 of spades relationship. And I was like, well, you guys are going to have issues with arguing. And he started breaking down me. He was like, how'd you know we have issues with arguing? I was like, I said, and I was able to tell him I was like, and your argument's over, boom, boom, boom. He was like, how'd you know that? I was like, yeah, that's why y'all not gonna do good. And he was like, well, but I really like her. I was like, well, when I read a little further, the reason why y'all gonna break up ain't gonna be because of her. It's gonna be because of you. because you view this relationship as boom, 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 and she views it as boom, 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 boom. And he was like, yeah, I said, and he was just like, he got quiet. He was like, how do you know that's what I want? I said, yeah, the cards told me. And if that's your motivation for a relationship, that's not going to sustain because you have her heart in your hands, but you here for this boom, boom, boom. And then when I told him what he was there for, he knew I wasn't lying. Did he listen? I hope so.
Man.
Man. I don't want to see you break that woman's heart, but I can't live it for you.
Book those sessions at your own risk, family.
I'm gonna tell you the truth.
You better make sure you want to know the truth.
Hey, I can't lie to you, man. Ethics, my personal ethics. I gotta tell you the truth. But I can also tell you, here's why she ain't rocking with you like that. And it's gonna be in my book, No Time to Waste. I mean, that's my old book. My new book, Tell It Like It Is, The Art of Loving Communication. Both people can be loving, but you gotta understand your partner's love language. If your love language is here and their love language is there, you both are right. Yes, you are giving love. And yes, it's true. She feels like she's not receiving love. Both are true. Translation. Yeah, it's lost in translation. Sometimes you need somebody to say, hey, look, your mood of love is here, your mood of love is here, and this is how you meet in the middle. Or are you guys going to be able to meet in the middle? Are you willing to do ABC? Are you willing to do ABC? You know? Mm-hmm. And in the book that I have coming out, that's the how-to. Because it's not just telling you what to do, it's telling you how to do it too. Solutions.
And that's exactly what we need, man. Exactly what we need. Yeah. Man, yo, Dwann, man, you a dope nigga, man. You know what I'm saying?
Likewise, man. I love both of y'all. Y'all feel like cousins.
Appreciate it, man. Definitely.
I'm your LA cousin. So right. I was brought up, just to give you a backstory, growing up Linwood. From Linwood High School, we moved to Hawaiian Gardens, racist ass Hawaiian Gardens. I was there until
you was in Hawaiian Gardens? What decade?
Hawaiian Gardens, yes.
In the 90s?
90s, yes. My graduation year is 93. Yeah. So from Linwood,
Dwann looking at them cards.
Right.
I mean, how she survived Hawaiian Gardens? Because they was crazy towards black folks back then.
Oh, very. My mom's car was set on fire, and a friend of mine, they threw a cocktail bomb in their home. So we only lasted over there about 2 years, I think. And from there, Long Beach. So Long Beach. I moved to Long Beach when I was 19.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Long Beach. I love Long Beach.
Yeah, me too. But yeah, Linwood is kind of like I feel like my birthing place.
It's all Mexican now. Huh?
Oh, yes. It was honestly, it was a lot of black people, but it was getting there even when we was there, in the 80s and 90s. So
my sister teaches in Linwood.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I went to Roosevelt Elementary School, Hostler Junior High School. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
LA. I love my city.
Yes.
Yeah, like I said, I appreciate what you do with your music too, Sincere, man.
Oh yeah, appreciate that, brother. Appreciate that, man. If we can ever link up on some shit, man, I'm with that. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
If we can ever link up on some shit, we get that popping, man.
And I could do some next time I go back in the studio to do some drum packs. Let me know what you're looking for. I can lay something like that down.
Yes, for sure. All right, we'll definitely chop that up behind the scenes then, man. Yeah. Because again,
a video of my son's father. My son's father is one of them church musicians as well, but he's played for a lot of artists out here in LA. But he started with drums at 8. Now his favorite though is lead guitar and bass.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, I don't know if you know about the barnyard. He's always at the barnyard playing.
I ain't been at the barnyard. I don't know how long.
Oh yeah, the barnyard still cracking. It's not on the same spot, same street, but a different spot, but on the same street. Still on Main though.
I heard it move. I gotta find out where. Let me know where that is because since the virus, I ain't been there in like well over like 10 years. Like I'm gonna go back.
Yeah, he play up there every Sunday unless he got something else to do. But yeah, they still doing the blues and R&B up in there.
That's what's up. See, it's a small world.
Small world.
I'm in that circle. Yeah.
You probably know him. You probably or ran
sitting
across
around.
him. Yeah, for sure.
I'm weird though. When I be in public, I'll be a fly on the wall. I'll be quiet and kind of just sitting to the back. I don't really be out in the middle like, hey. I more so get like this in front of a lot of people. One-on-one, I be shy.
Oh yeah. That's
One-on-one, I
weird.
be in the pocket, just sitting back watching everything.
Hey, so let folks know anything that you got coming up, man. What you working on next? What people can look forward to from Dwann B.
The book, Tell It Like It Is: The Art of Love and Communication. That's coming out next. I'm gonna have my sample packs up on incenseandashtrays.com in about another month. They're done. I'm gonna have, because I was gonna start something totally new, livedrumsamples.com. But I was like, you know what? I'm not about to start up another project. You know what I mean? I got so much other stuff going on right now. I don't want to start a whole different business, you know? So I'm going to upload the sample packs to Incense and Ashtrays, since that's where people go to listen to music anyway. You know what I mean? I got I'm pretty soon, my next profile I'm going to do a profile on Frankie Beverly and Maze pretty soon, and the majesty in his music. I did one in the past on Earth and Fire, decoding Earth and Fire, because I like to decode these legends. There's so much.
I got to catch up on that. I love some Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Yeah, I decoded Earth and Fire, really to listen to the messages in the music, you know, songs like Sail Away, Fall in Love with Love, you know, songs like On Your Face. Ain't it funny that the way it feels when you own your face, and when you try to hide, it states your case. I mean, it was so much wisdom and game in that music, and I spent time decoding it. I decoded Michael Jackson. So my next decode is going to be Frankie Beverly and Maze, and all the love behind his music, all the unity. Why is it so loving? Why does it make you feel like coming together? We're going to answer that. And then after that, I think I'm decode Luther Vandross. And I got a whole bunch of decoding different artists coming.
Dope. And with Earth, Wind, and Fire, and also Frankie Beverly and Maze, those brothers had knowledge of self. You know what I'm saying? I know Earth, Wind, and Fire, you know, they always had the comedic science on all their album covers and all of that. For what I understand, they was around like the Nation of Islam, even the 5% Nation. And Frankie Beverly, I know he was around Dr. York for a period of time as well. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Maurice White, he was on one, man. He studied Gabon. He studied all the different sciences, you know, and he if you listen to Earth and Fire, man, it's like listening to a Bobby Hemmett lecture. If you listen real close, you know, they're saying everything Bobby Hemmett talked about. But you know, we get so caught up in the melodies and stuff, which is great, in the hooks.
Right.
You gotta listen to a lot of their B-sides, like, you know what I mean? This is a song they have by Earth and Fire called All About Love. It's on the That's the Way of the World album. And it's a song where Maurice White is just talking. And they kind of got a nice gospel swing going on in the background. Ooh, excuse my singing, but it just, you feel it kind of rocking. Ooh, but you listen to the lyrics, and Maurice White is talking to you. He's talking as if he's talking to his woman, but he's really talking to you. And he's saying, you know, there's an outer self we got to deal with. The one that likes to go to parties, be cool, look pretty on ego trips. He talks about balancing your outer self with your inner self, and how life is all about love of self. And we really break that song down. It's a song about how to love yourself. You listen to Golden Time of Day by Frankie Beverly and Maze. Great song. Everybody loves Golden Time of Day. But what is the golden time of day? Most people miss it. He says it very politely and beautifully in the music. He said, when you feel deep down inside all of the love you are, that's the golden time of day. The golden time of day is the time that you wake up to the greatness that's already within you. We be so busy trying to look around what this person doing. Yeah, we be so busy looking around what this person doing. Why don't they like me? oh my God, why don't they accept me? You gotta accept yourself.
Accept yourself.
The journey to self-acceptance is a journey. You could have been born rich with all the clothes. You could have been born with the hazel eyes and wavy hair that the ladies like. You could have all that. But most of us don't, because we live in a world that programs us to negativity, and we have a negativity bias. Yeah, so the journey in life is a journey of the knowledge of self. And then when you listen to Earth and Fire, when you listen to Parliament Funkadelic got a song that came out in 1974 called Good Thoughts, Bad Thoughts. And this doesn't sound like any song you've ever heard before. It's his own thing. As a matter of fact, it sounds like Screw music. It's Screw music 30 years before Screw. And George, you hear Eddie Hazel wailing on the guitar way deep in the background. But it's really George Clinton talking through a processor, which kind of sounded like God. And on that song, he doesn't start talking till about 4 minutes into the song. And he's talking about when he's talking about good thoughts, bad thoughts, he says there's a line where he says the jazz sleeps in the acorn, the snail sleeps in the shell. He says something about, it's talking about the caterpillar finds itself in the tree, and God finds its unfoldment in man. I butchered the line, but he's using nature to talk about how to find yourself. The whole song is a metaphysical song about waking up to who you are. And you find this theme in a lot of our music in the 70s, especially on the B-sides of the album. Oftentimes in the A-sides. Earth and Fire has an album called I Am. They're telling you I am. You know what I mean? They're telling you keep your head to the sky no matter what's going on. You need devotion. That means all their albums are telling you that they're telling you the song that they have called Mighty Mighty. We are the people of the mighty, mighty people of the sun. In our heart lies all of the answers to the truth you can't run from. That's the line. But people just hear, we are people of the mighty, mighty. You hear that, you're like, yeah. But listen to the words. You are the people of the sun, and the answers are in your heart. Right. So a lot of times we miss that. So on Incense and Ashtrays, I take that time to decode these messages. And sometimes I just do straight up. I don't focus on anybody. I just usually on Friday night we playing like some funk shit. But I'll break down a song by song, different artists, and I also know so many musicians from back in the day. I have so many stories cataloged in my mind. I tell the backstory to a lot of the music, how it was written, who produced it, how it was put together, like how radio was back in the 80s. So that's what the whole Incense and Ashtrays project is about. It's really getting into the love of the music, man.
Yeah, man. Very dope, man. Much needed. It needs to be elevated even more. So make sure that y'all all tap in with it. Make sure y'all all tap in with our brother. Share the links and all of that. Star, if y'all been paying attention in the chat, some chick named Star has been posting the links to everything that we've been talking about. So make sure that y'all follow those links as well, man.
Yeah.
But
I just got a California flex alert. I did too. You got one too? Like,
I got it too, yeah.
What's that?
Talking about don't use our power from 4 to 9 to help stop the outage, or just conserve power.
I'm on TV right now, California. Y'all we done had them power outages back in 2000. Y'all should have fixed that by now.
I thought y'all was about to get one of them earthquakes or something, man.
I wish we could get
them. I hate those things. Don't you speak that up.
I don't know nothing about it. I felt one earthquake one time in my life. It was just a little shiver for a hot second.
You was out here for that 94 earthquake. I remember that one on King Day.
Yes.
And all the brick walls down Rodeo Road was on the ground. Chimneys was on the ground. The 10 freeway had broke by our house.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy. Y'all just live through shit like that like it's normal.
I had a week off school.
It ain't normal. I was here for Northridge and that one. Those are like the major two that I experienced.
But that one was 30 years ago.
I didn't know Star was in LA. Star says Star out there too.
Stars.
Now Star's like in Fresno.
I think she's up north, right?
I think she like in Central California.
Central Cal, yeah. 109 degrees. Wow.
Yeah,
Damn.
yeah, it's hot. I mean, we're gonna be for the next few days like 101 down here where we at. Yeah, it's hot.
Yeah, it's gonna be real hot all weekend. Now I'm thinking like because every Saturday I go down to the I don't know if you ever game with LACMA, LA County Museum of Art, but they got free Latin jazz on the grass every Saturday, and that's where I be.
Whoa,
and I'm thinking that this Saturday I'm gonna be like it's gonna be 110 degrees out there. I'm like, man,
I'm making my first trip to LA when the FBA museum open up, man.
Yeah,
that's gonna be my first trip to LA right there.
Man, I can't wait till that opens up, man.
Right.
I'm excited.
Right.
And it's coming. Although the haters has been hating. Well, not even hating. It's just those tethers. Where's that museum, you guys?
Yeah. I get a kick out of that shit. I don't even
That'd be funny.
It'd be funny as hell.
I'm like, well, if you had something worth putting in the museum, you'd have one too.
You know right. And so you're going to be a part of that museum. I already know. You're going to be a part of the hip hop documentary as well. I already know. So congratulate you early on both of those because
I appreciate that.
Again, you're getting cemented and solidified into history. You know what I'm saying? And it's well deserved. It's well deserved. Again, with all your different skills and the knowledge that you have, it needs to be encapsulated and put on display. So that's what's up, man.
I appreciate that.
Yes, indeed. Family, we can't keep our brother all night, man. You've been more than generous with your time, man. We really appreciate you taking the time to be here, man. This is you family, man. You can come back anytime. You know,
man,
what I'm
all day. And I like to have y'all like whenever I finally get back to doing interviews, I like to have y'all on. Just lately, I've been so busy. I just go live. Outside of Randy Short, I ain't really been doing interviews. But at some point, I'm gonna get back to doing interviews. But in the meantime, if you have anything that you want to promote, like just let me know.
For sure.
Especially if y'all got something to promote, just man, I got y'all.
For sure. We about to wrap up this new music project. I'm gonna hit you up for that soon. Yeah. We're about to wrap that one up soon. But yeah, I love the Randy Short interviews, man. And one of my favorite interviews that you did is with Bobby Rush.
I love Mr. Bobby Rush.
So much history and game in there. I listened to the same interview like 3 times.
I appreciate that because I want to make sure when I interview our elders, I want to ask the reason why that means a lot you saying that. I want to ask questions that are going to be entertaining to the casual listeners, but I really want jewels for the musicians. That's why I asked my questions the way I did with Mr. Bobby Rush. I wanted something that the musicians could take away and say, hey, you know, here's a jewel for me to use and apply to my music, you know?
Right.
And I want to make sure that they say things that's going to highlight our culture. So to hear another musician say you appreciate that interview, that means a lot.
Great interviews, man.
We're Randy Short on another Spaces too. That one was so dope the other day. I stayed in it. Like he's so funny but so informative. You know what I'm saying? Like he knows what he's talking about. He engages.
He talks that shit.
Dude.
He talks that shit. But he also brings that knowledge. I love him so much.
Hold on, Nicey girl. You reminded me, I'm mad at you. I'm mad at you. You know why?
What?
Because on Sunday, and I figured you probably just were listening, I invited you as a co-host in the room, and you didn't see it. And I knew you didn't see it because I could tell. I invited you as a co-host. I need somebody to help me co-host this room.
You kept saying it. You kept saying it, but I don't remember.
I heard you say it a couple times.
I figured she didn't see it.
Over and over, yeah.
I figured you didn't because I know you would have. You were there. I know you would have accepted it if you saw it. Yeah, I should have actually said. I should have said, "Can you?" I should have directly said something to you. But I was just when I'm see Dr. Short. When I interview him, he has so much game, but he could also go off on tangents. So even though I'm quiet, I'm listening very close because I feel him that I know when he's about to start making that left, and he appreciates that from me. He knows he can make a left, and so he appreciates when I pull him back in. So I'm so focused, even though I'm not saying anything. I'm kind of like, and I was like, she probably didn't see it. But next time, I'm gonna invite you again, and as a co-host, you know, if you want to be, if you don't want to be it, don't trip.
I got
Star
you.
was in and out. I was looking for Star, but Star had gotten in there like way later. But
Come
yeah,
on, team. Come on, team. You know we got to form Voltron out here.
That was such a dope space.
so I think I'm gonna do another one. I'm gonna try to do another one with him on Sunday. Sunday
Okay.
seems
A
to work
lot of
good for his
people doing.
schedule and good for mine. And I usually on here, but I think it's a whole bunch of people in Twitter Space. Twitter Space allows you guys to ask questions. When I'm interviewing them on here, my phone line only takes one phone call at a time. So Twitter Space allows people him to interact, and then I can still upload to YouTube later on for people.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
And shout out to Michael Warden, man. He makes that happen. So, him and D Tubman.
Oh yeah, for sure. Definitely shout out to Michael Warden and D Tubman.
This Sunday I won't be here. I am going to be at Redstone Firearms, getting my gun game on Sunday with Body by O, as well as Jonathan from Redstone Firearms. So I'll be out there doing my training for 4 hours in this heat in the valley. So I would not be able to tap in, but I will definitely listen to the replay on YouTube.
Oh, Nikki in the chat. Hey, Nikki, I'll co-host you. I'll co-host you next time, Nikki. I didn't see you. I saw you later on in there, but the first person I saw was nyctegur. Nikki, I'll co-host you next time. Yeah, I'll co-host you. I ain't tripping. Oh, so you say you're going to be at Redstone?
Yeah, I'll be at Redstone training this Sunday.
As you should. I like Redstone.
Bunny over there. You got Bugs Bunny over there. Let me see that rabbit. Let me see that rabbit.
Oh, you got a rabbit?
I have a pet. Yeah, I have a pet rabbit.
Let me see.
Oh, that's dope.
Bandit. His name is Bandit.
Let them know how I had to beg you to get him.
Oh, his name is Bandit?
Bandit.
Okay.
Bandit, like a damn criminal.
Yeah.
Oh, Bandit. Oh, Bandit. Okay. Because I was gonna say, he kind of looked like that dude running for Congress in Louisiana. What's that brother's name?
Oh, Gary.
When I was smoking weed, Gary Chambers.
Gary.
You got a little Gary right there. That little Gary Chambers right there.
Hey, yo, nicely, man. Let's end this how we always do on the GodCast, man.
All right. So we would like to ask, the family would like to know, what does power mean to you?
The ability to control my destiny and the ability to affect the destiny of others and other people's outcomes. I think power should also be associated with the word humble and the word fair and ethics, because too many times people get power and misuse it. Power is a beautiful thing, but I think here's the word: responsibility.
There you go.
Power. That's the one word I associate. Me personally, how I live my life, that I associate with power. Responsibility. Anytime you have any kind of level of power, you must be responsible on it. And like as a man, like I realized all my years working with families, and stuff like that. Especially when I have a lot of clients. 60% of my clients would be mothers and children. I'm getting more men lately, but most of them it's usually mothers. And when you work in that environment, when people trust you with information in their family and their history, you hold a level of power. And too many men misuse that power. We see it all the time with preachers. We see it all the time with people. When someone entrusts you with information, when someone entrusts you with game and they're looking to you for some level of guidance and leadership, you can't cross that line and use that power for sexual access and sexual domination. And too many men have done that for too long. You know what I mean? And power, there's a certain power that comes with being a teacher that too many of our teachers of the past have misused. And it's gotten in the way of the message of what is gotten in solutions. So when I say power, and anytime I have a level of power, whether it be apartment buildings that I run, whether it be my businesses that I own, whether it be my relationship with my clients, and a certain level of power, the word association with that is responsibility. Be very responsible with it, because you have that power dynamic that people are trusting you. And if you misuse it, you can mess up the path of somebody's life because you don't know how to control your dick or control your feelings and control your urges. You got to be responsible with power, fellas. It has to be. And that's the only way we're going to get through this thing. Is if when we do get some power, be responsible. too many black people turn into midget white people when they get power. They turn into white people knockoffs. You get a little bit of power, you want to do everything that white man do. Pay people late. Anybody do something to me, the minute you send me what you sent me, you gonna get that Cashapp or that Venmo within 30 seconds. You know what I mean? We miss as black people. We gonna solve our issue. I'm glad you asked a question about power. We gotta flex our power responsibly. We gotta stop that bullshit. I'm tired of people getting a little bit of power, and all of a sudden they want to turn into mini Donald Trump, turn into mini Joe Biden, complaining about that white boy all this time. Now you got something, you want to act just like him. We got to stop that bullshit.
Right.
Absolutely.
Man, you knocked that one out the park. You knocked that one out the goddamn park. I know.
I got one more stop. What does freedom mean to you?
Do what I want when I want. Do what I want when I want.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, that sums that up. But this is the part where we put you on the Summer Jam screen. And right now you have the microphone. The entire black community can hear what it is that you have to say. So what parting words would you like to leave us with all tonight?
Like how I end all my shows, I end every show that I do with, there are no perfect messengers, only perfect messages for those who are willing to pick up the game. It ain't no perfect messenger out there. I ain't trying to be no perfect messenger. Don't ever try to hold me to that standard. I'm a cuss. I'm a fat dude. I'm going to eat my pork and I'm going to smoke my weed. And I ain't going to apologize for it. There are no perfect people. We got to stop looking towards leaders to guide us and be the end all be all of how we supposed to live our life. I'm somebody that just got a little bit of game every now and again that you can listen to. People out there that we call leaders, they got information. The reason why we're attracted to these people is because the information that they give vibrates within us in some way. When that message vibrates with you and however it vibrates, your job is to pick up that message and do something with it through application in your life. Not to follow somebody and say, I like this person more than that person. And ooh, this person, I thought they was this. And oh my God, I can't be black first anymore because they're scam. It ain't about the people, it's about the message.
Right.
Now, we check our leaders, the people that we call leaders, quote unquote. You know what I mean? You want to watch who you listening to. But at the end of the day, there are no leaders. The only leader is yourself. If every person that we consider a leader falls by the wayside tomorrow, what you going to do? You going to die too? Or are you going to pick up what they said and lead yourself? The thing the last generation messed up with was when Malcolm and Martin died, the movement died. That's because they was looking for people. There are no leaders. There are no major organizations. We don't need to come together and form a party or form a business and do this. Because every time we come together, what happens? Our enemy is great at thwarting that through internal destabilization. It's not about having these big old show of power. How great I am. Look at this. Look at these 17 black people coming together to create this and woo, we're going to win. It ain't about none of that. It's about you playing your role, you playing your part, and you being your own leader. When I'm in a band, the drummer needs to be the drummer, playing the drum part. The bass player needs to be the bass player, playing the bass part. I don't need a bass player playing guitar melodies. That's what the guitar player is for. Piano player plays the piano part. Everybody got a part. And everybody ain't Malcolm and Martin. It's only one Malcolm, one Martin. There are Fannie Lou Hamers out there. There are Ida B. Wells out there. There are millions of unnamed people who will never be recognized for what they did. But they protected those people. They were a secretary. Everybody got a role. Be that. Be who you are. Know yourself. And don't get distracted by all this nonsense going on out there. Tap into you and you play your role. And if everybody play their role, we will develop the economy that we need. We will be able to recycle the black dollar 23 times because you got your piece of that role. They got their piece. We can't wait on Tariq and Jason Black to do everything. We can't wait on these people to do it. You got to fill that gap. And whatever that gap is, that gap might just be retweeting somebody. That gap might just be a $2 cash app you can give because money tight this week. That gap might be a word that you can get a kid on your block. Whatever it is, fill that gap, fill that role. And if everybody do that, we'll be all right. We don't need no damn leader. We don't need no major organization. We don't need none of that. We just need you to be you. Yeah.
Gems, family. Gems. You are watching Sincere Love the GodCast. This has been the Black Business Showcase with our brother Dwann B. Thank you again for coming through, bro. Appreciate everybody that tapped in with us tonight. Appreciate everybody who is watching this on the replay as well. Everybody make sure that you're liking, sharing, subscribing, all of that good stuff as always. Let everybody know where they can follow you at, bro.
You can find me on InstanceNashRace.com. Follow me on Instagram at Dwann B. That's kind of the rallying point place. Instagram and Twitter, both Dwann B. Hotepish.com, InstanceNashRace.com. Dwann B's YouTube. And today I'm gonna go live later on tonight. I'm gonna do a late night Q&A. I'm gonna grab a bottle of wine and roll a couple joints and probably go live in about an hour and a half.
Yes,
and today's topic is fat shaming. I figure as a fat dude, who better to speak on Lizzo and Ari Spears than another fat dude? So, what is fat shaming?
I'm tapping in.
I'm a go in on that topic and what's going on and why the whole fat shaming thing is nonsense. And if you put on the weight, you should be able to take the jokes.
That's a good one. That's a good one. That's a
me
good
being
one.
silly and informative. I'm gonna be a little more silly tonight, but we also gonna have game too.
Yes, indeed. Nicely. Let them know where they can follow you at.
You guys can follow me on Twitter at nyctegur without the one, and on Instagram, nyctegur with the one. Nyctegur without the one on Twitter, nyctegur with the one on Instagram. Make sure you guys are following, and of course, make sure that you guys are subscribed to the channel Sincere Love the God here on YouTube, and make sure you have hit the notification bell so you are notified every time we or he goes live on this channel.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And you guys know I'm at Sincere Love the God on all social media platforms. You can also type my name in your favorite music streaming platform and check out some of the music as well. The Spear and the Shield is streaming on all platforms. The latest single is called The Plandemic. Check that out on your favorite platforms as well. And look forward to some new music from me and my brother DJ RP Beats real soon. And with that being said, that does it for today's episode of Sincere Love the GodCast. Make sure you guys tap in with us this Sunday, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 1 p.m. Pacific Time. And I always love and admire the way that you end your shows with the saying that you say every time. There's no perfect messengers, only perfect messages. And, you know, that I kind of borrowed that from you. You know what I'm saying? We got our own saying here on the GodCast, but I came up with the saying based on hearing what you do at the end of all your shows. So I was definitely this outcry that we always say was inspired by your broadcast as well. So thank you for that. And so remember, family, we are not the master teachers, but we are the master students and signal boosters for the voices of the new Black media. We'll see y'all on Sunday. Peace and Black love.
Wait a minute. Don't click off yet.
What happened?
Did you wear the Laker hat because Dwann B is here?
I didn't, but you know, that's actually my team. I actually fuck with the Lakers.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've never seen him in this Laker hat, Dwann. I have not seen him in this Laker hat.
He's a smart man. I love my Lakers, man. I don't like my Lakers right now, but I still love my Lakers.
Even though Dwann be hating on LeBron, I ain't gonna say hating.
I can't stand.
That's a whole nother conversation we can have. My whole NBA experience. That's a whole other show we can do because, I know a few of his teammates. It's just a lot that I know that I.
Right.
No doubt. All right, family. Peace and Black love. We out of here.
Do for self or suffer the consequences. The wisdom of Elijah's inside of the conscientious. So I move.